When it comes to recording video footage on your smartphone, before you even think about pressing record or setting up for a shot, the first thing you need to do is prepare. When I say prepare, I mean make sure your phone's fully charged. Make sure you have enough storage on your phone to store all the video footage. Even delete some apps if you need to. Next, decide what you're going to film and how you're going to film it. Don't just point your smartphone at some random space and expect something amazing to happen. Plan. Make a storyboard so you can get your ideas out of your head and onto paper, and so you have something to refer to later. Or even just make some notes if you have to. Just whatever it takes so when it comes to filming the footage, you know what shots you need to get. For reference, this is a storyboard. It's where you draw what each shot of your video will look like. When it comes to filming the footage, the first thing you need to do is clean your lens. Now, you can either use your shirt, make sure it's clean first, or you can use a cloth. Whatever you choose, just use it to rub away any fluff or dust that may be laying on your lens and could ruin your shot. With your lens clean, you can now proceed to making sure what you're going to film is in focus. Now, I can't speak for all smartphones, but for most smartphones, you should be able to set the focus when the camera is in video mode by tapping on the center of the screen, and that should automatically bring everything into focus. When it comes to filming anything, lighting is probably one of the most important things you have to deal with. Now, you definitely do not want to point your phone directly into the sunlight because this will happen. Instead, film with your back to the sun. That way you can get the benefits of the sunlight without any harsh glares to ruin your shot. So you've got your lighting sorted, everything's in focus, your phone's fully charged, you know you've got enough space to store all the footage. Next, you have to frame the shot, which put simply means make sure everything looks good. There's this thing called the rule of thirds. It sounds more complex than it really is. What you want to do is go into your camera settings, make sure your grid lines are turned on. Then, whatever you're filming, make sure they're positioned on these intersecting lines where the vertical and the horizontal lines meet. That is the rule of thirds. You are allowed to place your subject in the center, but the rule of thirds is the industry standard. Another thing about framing to keep in mind is, if you're filming an interview, try and position your camera in a way that you can see the top and the bottom of the person's face. It just looks really weird if you chop their forehead or chin from the shot. Also, when they're answering questions, make sure the person's not looking directly at camera. It looks really off-putting to do. Instead, have them look slightly to the right or to the left, as if they're talking to someone beside the camera. It's completely up to you, but between filming in landscape mode or portrait mode, I would recommend you choose landscape mode. Why? Because when it comes to watching what you filmed on your laptop or your TV or anything other than your phone, you're going to get these massive black bars to the left and to the right of the footage. So go with landscape. If you plan to include some sound from what you're recording, then it's best you plug in some headphones, just so you have an idea of what everything sounds like. They don't even have to be like fancy headphones, a cheap pair will do, just as long as you can hear what you're recording. So you're probably dying to press record, but before you do, decide whether you're going to keep your phone still or include some movement in your shot. What I mean by that is, are you going to stay in one position whilst you're filming, or are you going to include some movement like walking towards your subject or walking away from your subject? If you are, you're going to need something to stabilize the shot, or you'll end up with something like this. For stability, you could use a selfie stick or a tripod, or you can do this nifty trick which involves tucking your elbows close to your body and moving slowly. As you're doing this, you want to keep your upper body as tight as possible and take very slow, measured steps as you walk. Now you're all set and ready to film. When you are filming, try and get as many shots as you can of the same thing from different angles. Film your subject from the side, the front, from behind. So when you have to edit all the footage together, you'll have lots of different shots to work with, which will result in a better looking video. If you are filming an interview, you'll need to capture some B-roll. B-roll are short clips you have in between your interview, and they normally relate to whatever the person being interviewed is saying. So for example, in these series of clips, watch how the shots jump back and forth between the main interview and the different clips.
The department that Mohammed works in, the staff are absolutely wonderful with him. They really look after him. They check on his work. They support him if there's a fire drill, which he finds quite difficult because they have to evacuate. He gets a supported taxi through access to work, but if he goes out and finds the taxi's not there, he's not really able to phone the taxi company, so they phone the company for him.
The clips in between the shots from the interview, those are the B-roll. A couple of things to keep in mind. B-roll footage is normally silent, so there's no need to capture sound when recording them. B-roll footage is normally only a few seconds long, and B-roll is good when you're editing because they help you transition between shots and hide the bad parts of your interview footage. My last bit of advice for recording videos on your phone is, have fun with it. Not only is filming stuff a fun experience, but it gives you the chance to be creative and express yourself. It gives you the chance to make something you can look back at and be proud of. It also gives you the chance to develop skills which are in high demand. At this moment in time, being a videographer is a highly rewarding career path, so you never know where this may lead.